Hey, welcome back to Mr. Smith Garage. We're here in the garage again with, of course, Ferdinand's here and Jack, which is our current project. Remember, I got another job that's kind of full-time, so I'm just trying to do small bits of content. You know, yesterday or over the weekend, we worked on the suspension. We got those Radflow shocks in there, new Schwenk springs, and all new bushings. So our rear suspension is basically getting ready to receive our hubs. We're going to fill this with grease. Sometimes I've seen a lot of videos where people put the grease on it first. I'm going to put the grease in it after, just because it was a little cleaner on the press. Grease seal, that's going to go in there. And that is a 72 millimeter. And I just happen to have a 74 millimeter, but we're not going to, we don't have to press it all the way past that seal. So should make it a really nice way. They're both the same size. Also got the Carter pins in there. Ended up getting my washers, these little ribbed washers for the axle CVs. And so we need to put some grease in here and get our grease seals on, put our stub axles in, which I've got right now cooling down in the freezer. And that should make them press on there a lot easier at -5 degrees. So there's quite a few things that are going on this rebuild, and so we do thank you for watching. And right now I'm gonna kind of load up my grease gun with wheel bearing grease, and that'll be the next step. Hopefully it will all go just as planned. Super easy, not really messy. So it took quite a while to prime it, but I got it figured out. It went on there. I didn't show it. There's a bunch of videos on how to do this, and you just got to remember that it's brand new, so there was no grease in here. So it took, I don't know, 20 pumps to prime. So now it's primed. It's at the end. So we'll see how this works this way. Okay, I think it's time that I put gloves on, because I might have to do some packing in there. Let's take this top race out, and we'll just set it here. Oh yeah, see, we got a lot of space in there that doesn't have any grease. Try not to get too much grease on the GoPro, but see, I gotta fill all that cavity with grease. And you can see down at the bottom of these roller bearings, didn't get much. So with that race out, we're gonna squeeze some grease down in there, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I think I've got this whole top all greased up really good. Gotta get that race in there. Race going back in. Now I'm going to flip this over. Oh, I'm trying to get it too greasy, right? And now we got to put grease in this side. Okay, lots of grease in there. Let's wipe some of this off. So what we got to do next is get these grease seals on. So we got it all packed. We got to get the grease seals on, and once those are on, the stub axle through. So I think I'm gonna, I think I can do this without the press. Let's see, and let's see how nicely they go in there. That one actually went in there pretty nicely. Okay, that's good. So we got this side on. I'm going to put a little bit of grease so I don't forget around the seal, because you don't want that seal to get ruined by anything. Got to make sure that race on the bottom doesn't fall out. Good, it didn't. Look at these, just sliding right in there. Nicely done. Now it's time to put the stub axle in. Like I said, I've got those freezing right now. Okay, cold steel. Here we go. Yeah, we might have to press that in, huh? Oh, you know what I could do? Is I could just stick a castle nut on there, so that way if it does slide out, I can slide it right back in. So we'll put a castle nut on there. Put this through here. And that should just press it straight down in there. Let's see if this works. Let's make sure that is centered. And this should just press straight down in there. The race is not getting pushed through, so that's good. Sure does make it nice having a press like this. Let's see if everything stayed together, which it did. Can push that race back in. Okay, get that grease worked in. Well, there we go. There's one, just like that. Hey, well, there you have it. There's one stub axle ready to go. One and done. And that's how you grease up and put the stub axle in. I cleaned up these hubs, okay, and I'm going to show you. We were able to use the press, which is super nice, to take all the old lug nuts out, which are only about 35 millimeters long, and we put new long lug nuts in. So this is just in case we put some aluminum wheels on there, if we need any kind of spacers or anything. I plan on just putting some stock wheels on there right now, but I still wanted to get these cleaned up and on there. Having them clean and on there, it keeps everything clean from dirt getting in there and all that. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to set this up so you can see how easy it is. Oh, let me show you one more thing on the press that I was talking about this thing just being super cheap. So what I've done is I've cleaned all the surfaces here where these two come together, because normally it just comes apart, so it's so you can actually put these together and it kind of holds in a nice little, but I'm going to weld them together because it kind of makes it rickety when I'm trying to jack it, because it's kind of loose. And then I'm going to weld, just had a flat piece of this wrench, probably came from IKEA or whatever. I'm going to weld this onto the end as well. And then we'll just repaint this all black or something so that it doesn't rust. But I can't get to the welder right now because it's behind Ferdinand, and Ferdinand, of course, is on the trickle charger because his battery died. I haven't driven Ferdinand for a little while, and that's what happens when you don't drive the guy. I've got my longer lugs in the freezer. So I'm going to go get that. I've kind of set this all up on a spacer here, because once these lugs are in, it needs to be spaced up off of the plate. So I guess that's the one thing about using press, is that you got to make sure you're not going to press against its own force, right? There we go. That one's in. Gonna bring it up just a little bit. That one will go right on here. Notice these castle nuts are a little different. This one has a spot every like twice per castle. These, and then these old ones are just a single. Use this old one just because that's, I got a matching set here. These both are a little different. That one's like just a beefy one. And okay, so I think now what we're going to do is actually put the axles onto the back of the stub axles there. This is going to be exciting. Okay, so since I have like these round retainers and these, I have 4 of these, so we're going to put 1 of these on each thing. They're the same size, so I'm not too terribly concerned about it. I think they're the same size. Oh, they are not the same size. Very interesting. Okay, well, scratch that. These are too big. These look like they would be on the Eurovan. Let's see if these fit in there. Yeah, those don't fit very good. I'm going to have to go get a couple more of these. I'll probably have to get them from Wolfgang. Okay, so one thing that I noticed that the flange that goes onto the CV boot was a little off. It was a little crooked. And so it wasn't going on the rest of the way. So you got to be really careful that you get this kind of going all around at the same time. Otherwise you got to kind of tap it off a little bit to get it to line up straight. And we want to try and get as much grease off of the end of these bolts as possible, so that we're not just putting grease into the bolt holes. Okay, now what I need to do is get my triple square out. Should have it in here somewhere. There it is. Special Volkswagen triple square. That's 8mm. And let's see if we can get some of these connected. Just gotta get one going. Once I get these kind of going, hopefully you can see this a little bit better. Okay, I still need to make sure I get the strap around here, and then I clamp these off. But we're looking good here, looking good. Go down a little bit on each one. Work our way around. Hopefully this is a good view for you. These, I believe, I'm going to go check my Bentley, but I believe these are supposed to be at 33 foot-pounds. 33 foot-pounds of torque. Yeah, these are a whole lot easier to do out here on the bench than once they're inside that trailing arm. This is a workout. You can kind of see, let's see how the bolts are coming out through the back, which they should. They should just, that's the whole bolt is being used, which is great. That's what we want. And it's giving me room to be able to put that metal clamp around the inside there. I'm going to go check the Bentley real quick, see what the torque is. Yep, so I was right, 33 foot-pounds. So we're going to find our foot-pounds on this side. That's 33. Good. Again, you want to make sure that this is bottomed out in there when we start turning, because you don't want to strip that out. Okay. Do a little trick here that I learned from somebody. That keeps it from rotating. There's 33. 33. Again, again, you want to make sure you seat that triple square all the way in. That way it doesn't slip on you. That one is done. So we got one done. 33 foot-pounds of torque on those, and it's ready to go straight through there. Remember, we only work a couple hours every evening just because I got another gig that I do. Actually, I got a couple other gigs that I do, but one that's a full-time job. If I didn't mention, I am missing one set of these, so I don't know where these came from. They must have been, oh, you know what, I can see how they were used but not supposed to be used. You can see the indentation there from, okay, so I only have technically, oh sorry, they're all right underneath the camera. I only have 5 left, so I'm going to need 4, because I've got 4 of these round ones that just aren't the right size. So, okay, we're back online. My goal is to be driving Jack this year, and so that's why we are working kind of every evening as much as possible to try and get some of this stuff just finished. Because, you know, getting it rolling and then getting it driving is the goal, and then we can work on the interior, you know, some of that other stuff that's inside. So that's what our goal is. Let's see what we got going here. Got all kinds of good grease in there, huh? Hey, if I haven't talked about it much, is anybody out on the channel going to Burning Van? If you haven't heard Burning Van, it's out on my, listed out on Vanagon Cafe, and also on Shasta VW Westies, and I think I even posted it on, I don't know if I posted it on Dub Nuts, but basically it is a group of like-minded people, mostly Vanagons, in the San Francisco area. We meet this Sunday, Ocean Beach, at, I want to say it's 9 to noon-ish or something like that. So I'll post a picture from Ben's website, from Vanagon Cafe. So that you have all the details. But I'm going down with Lars because I sold Jill the Vanagon, and Jack, of course, is not ready. So I think I'm going to take Lars down. I'm thinking that Lars will make it all the way to San Francisco. If you're ever up in the Shasta County region or area and you want to say hello to Mr. Smith Garage, shoot me a note. We'll set up a meeting. I do drink coffee, and so I can always meet you at one of the local coffee shops. Happy to do that. Talk Volkswagens with anybody. Could talk VR6, or we could talk air-cooled Vanagon. I don't know much about water-cooled Vanagons, to be honest. I mean, they can't be that much different, but I'm sure they are. Some of you out there have said, why do you go with air-cooled? Just go with a Subaru. But I'm telling you, man, I got skills with air-cooled Vanagons, especially the ones that, well, like the ones that I have, which I think all of them are in America, are all fuel injected, unless you've done a carburetor to them. Added carburetor. If you're in Europe, I want to say that a lot of those are diesel, right? So I don't know much about diesels, but my friend, Synchro Diesel Jim, he knows about the newer diesel motors, probably knows quite a bit about the older ones too, but he's got a couple of Vanagons with diesels. Okay, there we go. That was a little bit easier this time, it seems like. Maybe it's because I figured out how to do it. What I did with this to get this little guy on that last video you probably didn't see was, oh, there's some more light, is I wrapped it around a paint can. Made sure that the bumps are on the inside. I'm just going to take that off. Bumps are on the inside. Okay, just like that. You see it's got a little bit of a skinnier part right here. What I did with that is I just bent it up just a little bit so that I can get it in here. Come around this side. See that? Just got it so it's kind of hooked on there. And then what we're going to do, try to move my finger out of the way here, is I'm going to take this, grab it really good, and then try and roll it like so. I think I rolled it with this one, huh? Because you just want to try and get it as tight as you can, and we don't want to puncture anything there. The rubber. But we do want it to flatten itself out. So inside this boot there's a ridge that goes around it. So this just keeps it from coming off that ridge. Then I'm just gonna tap that down, and there you have it. One more axle connected. Actually, it's pretty good. I think the last time I was going to show you, there's a little bit of grease right here on the back of the hub. I'm just going to wipe that off so that it's not there. I'm going to wipe it off all the way around. Get all those pesky pieces of grease off of there. It'll keep your vehicle cleaner. We didn't have too much come through. Nothing on this side, it looks like. That's good. And there you go. Oh, we got to make sure we clamp this one. I'll show you how we do that with our handy dandy Oetiker pliers. Just find a good spot. I think it's a good spot where it's at. It's on those ridges. And then we Oetiker it, and that will be good for probably until the boot tears. Maybe 10,000 miles. Who knows? Hey, thanks for watching Mr. Smith Garage. Tomorrow we'll probably get that transmission up inside jack, and then we'll put the axles through and connect the axles, or the hubs right here. And then we'll start working on brakes. My goodness. We're moving right along. I do appreciate my watchers, so all of you that subscribe and say like, all that stuff. If we can get Ferdinand out of the garage here tomorrow too at some point, I might show you a little bit of my welding skills, which aren't that great, but I'm going to weld this up so that it's not loosey-goosey compactable. I'd just rather have the whole thing work the way it is. So this has been a great tool to have. I'm happy that I've got it. So well, there we go. Mr. Smith Garage once again has brought you more content.